Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm really excited. They looked really good. I hope today I get the USB stick with everything on there to finish things up on the website. So that was kind of like my highlight, I think, of the week.
And cool. How long have you been creating the website?
It's been, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks. Okay. Good. I hope today I get the USB stick with everything on there to finish things up on the website. That was kind of like my highlight, I think, of the week.
Very cool. And how long have you been creating the website?
It's been,
oh my God. You know what?
I'm like hearing it like 3 minutes later. What are we doing?
It's good. I just pushed the button. I'm really so
hilarious.
You know what I did? You know what I did? This is amazing. Like, I gotta let one of you girls start the call next time. This is so simple, and I think the whole world could be watching this right now and going, where's that girl from? You don't know shit about shit. It's awesome. So you know what I did? Okay. So while you're chatting, I'm like, I want to put this live on Facebook because it's supposed to go live on Facebook and it's not going live on Facebook. So I'm like, I'm just going to click this one button. While I'm hearing you talk about, I have attention deficit, some kind of whack. I don't know what that is, but I'm diagnosing myself. There's a button, Theodora Vanden Heuvel, that says more. Not that button. It says share. And so I share. And where do I share? I'm deciding I'm going to share to YouTube and go live on YouTube. So we're sharing live on YouTube. And then I hear me in slow jam. That's what's happening.
You're hilarious.
So I'm really sorry that I actually interrupted myself and you interrupted yourself because we had it all going live. I don't understand why that happens. That's really weird technology. I don't know, but I'm going to stop it. We can just spend the whole time listening to us, talking about us, and listening to us. That'd be good. Oh, shit, bugger damn. Okay. I think it's live on YouTube anyway, and I'm not even going to listen to it. I'm turning that whole thing off, and I don't know what's happening, but according to the screen, it says recording live on YouTube.
Let's just stick with that then.
I'm going to not touch any more buttons.
I've at least had a really good laugh this morning.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Me and buttons.
Always an adventure with you, Christine. Always an adventure.
I'll keep my hands on my head. What do you do with kids? Put their hands in mittens or something so they don't touch things. All right. I'm done. That's it for me. I've been
where we can see them.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Goodness.
Okay.
Okay. I gotta smoke alarm going off in the house right now, so I'm just gonna pay attention to what might be happening in another apartment right now.
And what is that? A fire alarm?
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. There is lots going on in the world today. With our call, we've got me pushing buttons. Tanja is the one like solid, stable creature in this call.
I'm just sitting here laughing. That's all.
Perhaps Theodora's building's on fire.
I hope not.
No, she's boiling water.
That's good. That's good.
It actually happens quite a bit. And she just kind of opens her door and says, "We're good. Boiling water." So.
Crazy.
Very sensitive alarm then.
Yeah, I guess it's like right next to her stove or something. Yeah. So I don't always like run to the door or panic. I usually just like.
Yeah. Do I hear screaming?
Yeah.
Then that's a sign.
As soon as she gets into the house, then I'm gone.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good morning.
I think we're officially here now. I think it's happened. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, how about you, Miss Up North? I won't tell anyone where you live, north of PA.
Well, we have a bit of snow here. We got about 3 inches of snow. Wow. And then it melted partially, but we still have snow. So that's kind of fun. And it's been minus temperatures for a few days. So it definitely feels more like winter up here. And it's interesting because a lot of people that live in Saskatchewan really resist winter and the days getting shorter and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of have a different point of view on that. I live here because I want to live here. And so I'm enjoying the winter and I'm having fun with it. And we've been running our dogs, which has been really a lot of fun. Last week I went out on Thursday last week. So that was after our call. I went out on my own just with 6 dogs, and we have some home trails here, and we're just doing some, it's mostly, we use them for leader training. So the leaders learn their commands. Cool. And yeah, it was super fun. And it was such a beautiful day. And that was the day after we had gotten our snow. And because it was kind of wet snow, some of the branches had come down. So I'd spent the morning going down the trail, just kind of making sure there weren't any big trees or big bushes down or whatever. So, so that's just part of it. But it was so much fun. Like that's the thing that I've really been noticing a lot this week is the joy that the dogs have for running and how excited they get. And it kind of drives me crazy sometimes because some of them are kind of like, when you hook them up, they're kind of screamers and they kind of freak out a lot.
They do, yeah.
Yeah. And
that was a lot of fun when we did that last year, and just seeing that rush that the dogs get and the excitement, and they're just
totally
control.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we took off, it was like complete silence.
Yeah.
They were in the zone. All you could hear was them breathing. It was it was beautiful.
Yeah. And that's awesome when people can see that and appreciate it. I think a lot of times people don't realize how much fun they actually have and how much they really enjoy it. And and it was just so much fun driving around. We're using the quad right now. So, and I'm not the biggest fan of quad because I prefer non-motorized vehicles. And yet it allows me the opportunity to go out now and I have a little more control with stopping and that sort of thing. And it was just super fun because there's lots of twists and turns and corners. And so you kind of whip around the corners and it's just really fun to go out. And then on the weekend, my husband and I went out together and we strung all 18 together on one line. Wow. And it's always a little bit nerve-wracking for me the first time because it's a really long string. And yet it's so cool because they get going and they're just so pumped and they just know what their job is and they just want to go and they just go forward, and it's just so cool to watch, and they're so in the moment. And that's really what it's been interesting because that, and then hearing a few other videos I've seen on Facebook where people are really talking about being present and how we can really enjoy each moment. And animals do that so amazingly well because that's just how they function
all the time.
They're just so in the moment, and so they can appreciate and just they love living. And I just wonder how much more we can learn from them, because you can't focus on your problems if you're living in the moment of joy, right? Like you're in the moment and you're enjoying everything that's going on. So that's been really, really cool to watch and to be a part of, and to learn for myself as well, to just be more of that. And and then the other thing, I guess, is just, let's see. I did a little talk last Thursday as well. No, Wednesday that was, I think.
What? You were talking?
Well, just really short. But it was fun because I got to kind of introduce myself. I was pretty nervous too, but which is so funny because sometimes I have no troubles talking in front of groups, and other times it's a little more intimidating. And whose is that? Like, who does that belong to? Right. And anyway, that was interesting. And then I've just been chatting with my brother, who is moving into a bigger space, and so that's been really
pictures of the house. It's elegant.
Stunning. Yes, very much so. Yeah. And it's been so interesting watching that, because I just think about where he was even a year, maybe 2 years ago. And just when we talk about choosing, it's so interesting to watch and to see what you can choose if you just choose, right? And if you chose not to choose, that is how easy it is to stay stuck, and yet how easy it is to move on and to choose greater. So so that's been really, really fun to watch. And so yeah, that's kind of it right now. Today's Halloween, so my kids are kind of excited, and they've been bonkers lately. Yeah. So so there's more joy there for them. Yeah, that's about it for me.
What was your talk about?
The talk was just basically introducing myself and body talk and access consciousness. And I was just kind of it was part of a raise your vibration is what the woman called it. And it was just kind of talking about different things one can do to raise your vibration. And so awesome. She had talked about essential oils and salt lamps and different ways of eating, like nutrition and that kind of thing. And then of course, yoga and meditation. And then she asked if I wanted to contribute with talking about body talk and access consciousness. So because we did a yoga portion and meditation, and she did some singing bowls, there was a little less time for me to speak, which was fine. It was great because she at least allowed me to be there and to leave some information there. And so, so it was really cool.
And was it a good turnout?
Yeah, actually it was, because that was the day that it was snowing all day long. And so we were like, the minute she was like, I don't know, should I cancel? And I was like, I kept checking to see if I was getting messages, if she was canceling or not. And she didn't. And she's like, I don't know how many people are going to show up. And on the way there, I asked the question, what would it take for everyone that desired to be there to, who signed up to show up? And I think 1, maybe 2 people canceled. And so there still were like 13 people that showed up. So awesome. It was awesome. Yeah, it was great. So yeah.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And baby steps, baby steps, baby.
And what have you seen? How's your
how's my life? Well, first of all, I have to take the plant out of my head, or the I don't have a plant, but this lamp that looks like it's coming out of my head is driving me crazy. I have to move my lamp. I'm really cushioned nicely in the corner. I should just bring it up so you can see the lamp. Oh, but now I can't move. My arm is stuck. I have to move the lamp out of the way. There. Okay. I don't know. It's like, when you have that person with that little bit of crap in their teeth and then you can't focus on anything.
Do you tell that person they have crap in their teeth?
I do usually. I'll do the little subtle one, and then I'll be like, hey babe, you got like lunch. Oh my God, Tanya, I want to thank you for your questions. When you were saying like, well, what else is possible to create more here?
Mm.
Um, it's amazing. And then you said something earlier, this woman who says little, but when she does, it's like Gandhi. It's so you said something like the dogs that you can't worry about. I have to go back and listen to this. Unfortunately, I can't because we're live. But if I was listening to the recording of us recording it, I could. So you said something like you can't
worry about your problems
at all. Like there's nothing when you're only in joy. There's no worries at all.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it more eloquently than that. And so what I find interesting that I've been landing in occasionally is the conclusions, like of how this creative process, and that's going to be it because I'm getting emotional. So that's it. Like the conclusions of how this expansion is supposed to look, and that it means it's all me doing it. And so like we're expanding the studio. It's public now. Like last time we were chatting, I was saying stuff like, oh, you gotta just let it all out there and tell everybody everything, and then the dream's possible, which is really true. And then what happens to me, or is happening, is this like, okay, now I gotta go because like everybody knows it's happening, so I gotta go as fast as I can because like now everybody knows, so I gotta go even faster. So I've been staying up really late every evening, and awake very early, and there is joy, but there also isn't. Like there becomes this blur of creating. Like there's creation and it's happening. Our campaign, the back end story is we launch tomorrow morning. We launch at midnight. We launch November 1st. And I'm really overwhelmed. Like I'm excited, but I think what this is the like,
is this yours?
I think it's my potency. I think I'm afraid of my potency. Not afraid, but like the fuck, I'm creating this. Like I'm choosing this. And I'm telling everybody, and I don't know how it's gonna look. And so I think because I get like, it's super exciting, but also I think there's this fear that shows up of like, which isn't mine, which is like, well, what if it doesn't work? And I have the lease that I'm signing today. Like I've had this lease to sign for weeks. I'm doing everything at the last possible fraction of a second before it's like, thank you for trying, door is closed. Like, and so it's very interesting to stay in the questions, like to use the tools that I know I have of like, oh, well, what's right about this that I'm not getting, that I actually don't have the money yet, and I've signed a lease, and telling everybody it's happening. Like I'm doing it so out of linearity. I think that freaks me out. I think that's the thing. Like it's not like, who says they're going to create something? I mean, I do. I do. I say that I'm going to create something before I have the money, before we have the loan, before I have the lease signed. I already have keys. I have 3 sets of keys made, and I haven't even signed the lease. And the money, like, I'll help the money now, please. That'd be really great. And tomorrow we start our launch. But maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. This is being out of control and out of definition and out of form and out of structure and out of significance, which is brilliant. Mm-hmm. For those people who listen to this later and don't know what the hell I'm talking about, nothing in this world is linear. You don't count your chickens before they hatch, Christine. Nothing happens linear. So like, you don't have to do it that way. And yet I think I'm picking up on this, like, oh my God, I am not doing this at all the right way. That's it. That's totally it, Tanja. Can you clear me? Like,
so
I think that's it.
Yeah. So the thing is that the way you're doing it is totally different than any way most people function in this reality. And this relates so much to the story about my brother and them choosing a house that is who knows how much money per month, and they're renting. And it's like I think he's at 72,000 square feet. And I'm going to say that he probably doesn't know exactly where the money is coming from every single month when he has to pay rent. And he still chose it. And I think the other point in it is that when you choose it, you're committing and you're letting the universe know that I'm committing to this now, and show me the money now, please. And you're definitely picking up on everybody around you because you are amazingly psychic, and all of the energy that people are projecting at you and saying, well, this isn't how we do it in this reality, and you're going to fail. And you're...
Thank you. I'll have that judgment now, please.
So is there like, I get the sense that there's more about the failure piece. And it's more, I don't want to say that you're afraid to fail, but it might be more of what other people are sensing. Or because it's really such a different way of functioning, people can't imagine that it's going to work, right? Because you don't know exactly where the money's coming from, and that you haven't got this in place and this, and it's all logically.
It's interesting because failure isn't really, because I do just that, like, as I'm talking my head out of my ass right now. Like, I'll create stuff. I do that, like creating things without knowing how it's gonna, and not even knowing that I know how to do it. But I'm like, oh well, they want that, and that feels fun, so I'll go make a meditation program. Okay, that's cool. Like I'll make, and then I'm doing it, and then it's happening. So like I get that that's my mojo, and I made it public, and that resonated really true, Tanja, when you're saying I'm picking on everyone's. What the fuck is she doing? Mm-hmm. Like it. Like interesting. And so that's great. So what questions can I stay in, this, who does this belong to? And, or that, how can I be out of control, out of definition, out of form, out of structure, and step into the true potency and truly be with total ease. Totally. And use that. The thing with failure, I had this weird fleeting thought, or maybe it was awareness, I'm not sure. That, and I was all cool, because like it's any choice, and I'll say this to my clients, like, well, take action and surrender the results. You have no idea how things are going to show up unless they just choose, and then choose again and choose again and choose again. So I get that. And then I'm walking down the street and taking a moment from like diving in and like all these launch email things that have to get created before tomorrow, because tomorrow we're launching. So I mean, some stuff you just have to get done and do because the deadline's there. And then I had this thing, I'm like, well, if it doesn't work, I'll just like declare bankruptcy and move and go somewhere else. And it was like not even weird. Like I didn't go, oh my God, like if that happens, I was like, and I'd have like absolutely no credit card debt. That'd be kind of awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
But I didn't go, oh my God, who does that belong to? Is that real? Is that going to happen? Like it just was there. And I was like, yeah, I'll just choose again, and I'll choose again.
Well, and that's, I think that you talking about that and saying you'll choose again and again is awesome. And is there really true failure? And that's right. Like, that's something that Gary Douglas, founder of Access Consciousness, talks about.
You're brilliant.
I'm not brilliant, but
you're brilliant.
Is brilliant.
Can you receive your brilliance right now, Tanja? You're brilliant. You are totally contributing to my life.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. And there is no such thing as failure. So it's just going to look different from what you have concluded it's going to show up as. Yeah. So what would it take for you to be okay with however it shows up? And if we have no conclusions, right, then it doesn't matter how it shows up. We're going to be just totally fine with however it shows up. And therefore, there really can be no failure, because no matter what you choose, there's going to be awareness, right? Choice creates awareness. And so I know this reality really functions on winning and losing and, people failing at things. And so if you have to declare bankruptcy, I think it's so awesome that you're like, oh, okay, whatever, I'll just move on. And that's great. Because there is no such thing as failure. Yeah. Go ahead.
I agree with that. I agree, because no matter what we choose and experience, we're learning, right? And it's going to help us grow and move on. Can you guys just talk a little bit about who does this belong to? Because, is it okay to experience fear? Is it not okay for Christine to have a little bit of fear and anxiousness in this whole awesome expansion?
So for me,
can't that be a contribution to it as well, like in a positive way?
Yeah, for me, my take on fear is that it's actually a lie. My take on fear. My take on fear is that it's actually a distractor from something else that I'm not aware of. So when I typically I'll ask myself, like, if I'm feeling this, like, oh, where's the joy? And how come, like, what could it be? Someone's chatting and I'm really hopeful I could listen, but thank you. I have to read that later. So with fear, when it shows up, like, oh my God, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, oh, what if this doesn't work? So then usually what happens when that type of sensation shows up, I go into the judgment and then the conclusion of, well, if it doesn't work, then this, and if it does work, then that. And then I lock into some kind of conclusion of what something's going to look like. So most of the time I choose to believe that fear is a lie. And it distracts me from something that I actually know as a knowing or an awareness. So in my brain, there's fear, and then there's awareness way up here and a knowing. And so I'll ask myself, and I've shared this with clients of like, well, if fear is a feeling, if I'm feeling afraid, I'll ask, okay, well, what feeling am I choosing for the stuckness I'm using? Or what awareness am I refusing for the feeling I'm choosing? So I am always into, okay, well, what is this? What am I aware of here? What am I aware of? Yeah. And then if I'm aware that, like, my stomach is tight and I'm starting to not have fun and just like pump out stuff and be a taskmaster, which is not where I'm at my greatest potency. Like I'm just a taskmaster. And there's moments like in this week where it's been that of like doing, and I can create and still have joy, but when I'm tasking, it's just a task. Mm-hmm. Then I'll ask, okay, well, who does this belong to? Mm-hmm. And that's an access consciousness question. And so if it belongs to me, then what am I going to choose to move through that? But if it doesn't belong to me, then why am I believing it is true? Why am I eating someone else's junk as true? And for me, usually what happens when I'm landing in some type of fear, it's because I'm actually refusing my potency.
Mm-hmm. And can I add to that?
Yeah.
The other thing with fear too is I think there's a subtlety between having fear and knowing, like, for example, you're standing in the middle of a highway, you're going to have fear if you see a car coming towards you, and it's going to get you to move out of the way. That's one use of fear. I think the fear that Christine is more talking about is the fear that is really keeping people stuck. So if you really delve into the emotion of fear, then you use it for no choice. You use it to keep you stuck and no choosing. And so then you just say, well, I can't do that because I'm afraid. And what if you come up with all these conclusions and decisions on what would happen if you chose beyond the fear. And so that's one way of kind of distinguishing different degrees of fear, I suppose. And I think that's partially because fear can certainly be used in a positive way, like you said, Teo, in that, it's going to make you move forward in one way, and then in another way, it can really hold you back and keep you from choosing. So, yeah.
It's all perspective, right? And how you deal with fear.
Yeah.
Because I can see, like, people will, they don't pursue things or choose things because they are afraid. And then there are people that it is a healthy expression or emotion to feel. And it is like your will to survive and really push through. And some people use that as a motivator to just overcome and prove to themselves that I don't need to be afraid of this, and I can do this, and I can say this, and I can be this. And okay. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that whole.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And everything are just like, for anyone watching and for us too, like, it's all integrating and adding to the wonderful mix of everything that makes us have more skills to move through life.
Yeah.
So I really like, within access consciousness, just staying in question and not locking into conclusion. And and so anytime fear shows up or nervousness or whatever, I love the idea of that's an indicator of something even greater than I'm aware of. So then it's really not a fear, it's something else.
Yeah.
So someone also told me once that fear is false expectations appearing real. Which is a false expectation. And expectations are usually locked in conclusion too.
Yeah.
So everywhere I am locking into the conclusion of how I should be in the creation process of my awesome life, I now destroy and create.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So easy to go into the do, get things done, than the creative dance through the journey. When everyone, like, we all have points of view about everything. I mean, human beings are pretty conclusionary and judgy pants. I mean, me too. I'll be like, oh, that's a sexy dress. I judge the shit out of that dress. Like, I mean, we come into conclusion about so much without even knowing. So, yeah, I thank you, ladies, because that I think is a big part of like just being cool with choosing. It's like those choose your own adventure books as a kid. Like, if you want to see Christine, go down the sewer of Swift Current, choose A. If you want to see Christine create a multi-level empire of joy juicing, choose page 42. If you want to see her get swept off her feet and go to a tropical island with Romanio, choose page 17. If you would like all of these to show up on Tuesday, make your own book.
Oh, that's awesome.
Crazy pants. Crazy pants.
But you're doing great, Christine, and it is it's quite the venture you're pursuing, and I think you've got this. Like, I totally believe in you, and I want you to succeed because I know what you've already accomplished and what you've built and what you provide for so many people, not only in Swift Current but surrounding areas and even the world with all of your services. And I think just adding to that, it's I don't know. I think it's just going to be beautiful, and I think it's going to be great. And I think that, yeah, I totally think you got this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's a piece there of like when you were just sharing I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but well, I mean, I like him, but whatever. I don't read the book 12 times. There's a piece where like, you know, Dumbledore has his magic and he like looks into the chalice spacey fountainy thing, the font. And it's like so much can happen. And I just imagine Dumbledore, like you look in and you see this font and it looks like water. It's full of water. It's this beautiful font of possibilities. Ooh, gotta write some of this down. The font of possibilities. And then you get close to it and you're like just about to tap into that possibility of which everything that is that you wanted to create is just there. And then you dip in a toe or a finger and then it's like, because you feel, it's like, oh my God, what the hell was that? That was like amazing. Oh my God, what was that? And then we go, whoosh. We're like, I've never felt that before. Holy shit, that was like, can I do that again? Should I do that again? And it kind of feels like that is happening of this, and my toe dips in and I don't even realize that like my half of me is there already. And then my toe dips in and that part of me is just going, oh my God, this is like totally happening. This is it. And then 3/4 of my body is in this life, in this reality, going, whoa, like, wait a minute, I'm on 2nd Avenue right now and there's a stop sign. Get your body back here. And so that's this is this thing of like expand and contract and choose this deliciousness and then go, whoa, that was like super crazy awesome, but I'm gonna have some more. And then, oh my God, it's kind of like that. And what pulls me out of it is my humanness, like the ridiculousness of my human brain, which is fun. So yeah, little Harry Potter thought right there.
Cool.
You're awesome, Christine. I love it.
Oh, Lord. Lord Jesus.
Couple.
Guess what? We have 2 fabulous creatures on the call with us. Do you see them? They're chatting. Oh, look, Kelly. I love that. Kelly says, what if the fear you're feeling is actually the edge of a higher awareness that you are choosing? Yes, totally. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. And earlier, Charla, who said she's got a beautiful baby this morning in her arms, I think. She said, thank you for creating the opportunity. It's awesome that you put yourself out there and aren't afraid to try new things. You could ask yourself, what could you choose to enjoy the process, no matter where the journey takes you? Very cool. Thank you, Charla. Yeah, right? Like, what can I choose right now that would create more here?
Yeah.
Who can I be today that would create even more?
And the other piece about you were calling yourself a human, and in Access Consciousness, we also talk about humanoids, and to just remember that humanoids like to leave everything to last minute because we want to prove how fast we can create and all of that. And that's totally you. So don't judge yourself about leaving everything to the last minute and doing it in a certain order or how it has to be done, or well, we've already talked about all that and how it has to show up. So, so yeah, just be who you be, and what else is possible.
I have a quote that came out of my head and my mouth earlier this week, which if I can find it, it was really good, and I'm going to put on a t-shirt. Oh my God. Okay. I'm looking in my book. I don't even need it. Okay. This is my final answer, Alex. It's so imagine I'm wearing a t-shirt and it says, let him be him and let you be you, and don't get stuck in anyone's poo. Oh my God, that's my mantra of the day. Oh, wait a minute. Let him be him, let you be you, and don't get stuck in anyone's poo. And I sound like Mrs. Doubtfire.
You do.
Yeah.
There we go. So that's my take home for the day.
The words of wisdom you share with everybody. Thank
you. Oh, that's awesome.
So anything else, ladies? I want to thank you for this $500 session that you've just offered me. Thank you, all of you amazing creatures of magnitude. Kelly and Holly just hopped on. Holly, let him be him and let you be you. Don't get stuck in anyone's poo. Holly's here. Holly, you got to listen to this whole thing. These women were amazing, and they got my head out of my butt. So you got to check them out. Got to listen to it.
Funny.
Anything else, ladies, before we finish? Because now I realized I actually have to push the end meeting button. And we may all then disappear. It might happen.
That's it. That was really good. Thanks for sharing, Christine.
Yeah.
And thanks for your words, Tanya.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah.
And thanks for all the other participants who came and shared their.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, babes.
Yeah. It's great.
Oh, we're making out on TV. We'll see you guys.
Bye.
See you next Tuesday.
See you. Bye.